going full diva. Can you believe this? A jamfluencer going full diva.
Favourite royal couple, Harry and Meghan, well...
They say chaos has a sound, and in Montecito, it started as whispers, faint at first, like the rustle of curtains before a storm. It wasn't a scandal. It wasn't even a headline. No leaks, no expose, just a demand. One of those Meghan Markle demands that made even seasoned PR veterans clutch their lattes tighter and wonder if this was the week they'd quit. By Monday morning, those whispers were everywhere. Interns were nervously rereading their NDAs. Senior staff were double-checking their exit strategies. Everyone could feel it. Something was brewing in that big, white-walled mansion on the hill, and it had Meghan's fingerprints all over it. The story goes, Meghan woke up that morning already in full Duchess mode. She called her team together not to discuss plans, not to collaborate, but to command. The word requirements barely covered it. Her list of demands was so outrageous it could have doubled as a movie script. One insider said even the most unflappable Hollywood PR pros, the ones who've cleaned up after Grammy disasters and Oscar night feuds, just sat there blinking. Meghan wanted everything changed overnight. Her narrative, her image, her global reputation. She wanted the world to fall back in love with her immediately.
It's a PR disaster to have, Pat Tillman's mum saying it's not a good idea for him to receive the award and...
She didn't ask for miracles, one insider said. She demanded them loudly. The PR team was told to rewrite her entire story from scratch, to push glowing pieces into outlets that had long stopped caring about royal gossip, and to engineer what she called a global empathy reset. No one knew what that meant, but everyone was too scared to ask. Meghan's approval ratings had dipped again. The critics were circling like sharks. Her lifestyle brand wasn't hitting numbers. The comparisons to Catherine were louder than ever, and Meghan couldn't bear it. When the spotlight faded, she did what she always did. She clawed it back, even if it meant burning everything around her to do it. She demanded interviews, campaigns, glowing profiles, hashtags, overnight transformations. But reality and the team just couldn't keep up. They tried to explain the timeline, the limits, the strategy. But Meghan didn't want logic. She wanted miracles. When they hesitated, she exploded.
Prince Henry Charles Albert David of Wales, Sussex, what are you doing here? Sorry.
Harry tried to help bless him. He's been the peacemaker for years, the shock absorber between Meghan and the rest of the world. But this time, even he looked lost. One source described him like a man watching a train he can't stop. He paced the halls while Meghan stormed through the rooms like a general preparing for battle. The team, already worn out from weeks of firefighting, suddenly found themselves staring down a full-scale blaze. Meghan wanted everything at once. Every negative story buried, a dozen new positive ones planted, her entire reputation rewritten, her Hollywood power image restored, her critics silenced, and all of it by the end of the month. When someone finally gathered the courage to say that wasn't realistic, she erupted. Not frustration, not disappointment, a full volcanic explosion! She shouted, she gestured, her words flew like sparks. And for once, nobody dared interrupt her.
Unlike, one might say, for Harry and Meghan, who yet again seemed to...
One witness swore her voice could crack diamonds. Another said the walls of that Montecito home actually vibrated. Harry flinched each time she raised her hand for emphasis. At one point, Meghan accused everyone, the palace, the press, the public, even America's elite, of conspiring to dim her light. The team tried to stay professional, but you could see it on their faces. They were done. This wasn't just another celebrity tantrum. This was an inferno. These were top-tier PR experts, people who'd handled reputations way messier than hers. But what broke them wasn't the workload. It was the futility. They felt like Meghan kept inventing enemies faster than they could fight them. By Tuesday morning, the fallout began. 3 senior staff resigned, 2 more filed formal departure notices, another asked to be reassigned entirely. And then came the call, the one Meghan never thought she'd get. The firm's CEO phoned Harry personally. A polite voice, careful words, all professional. The partnership, he said, is no longer a good fit.
After a surprising behind-the-scenes detail about her conduct sent the internet into overdrive. So she appeared on the cover of Harper's Bazaar's...
That's PR code for, your wife torched this bridge, paved over the ashes, and salted the ground so nothing will ever grow here again. Meghan couldn't believe it. She was shocked. Her? The Duchess of Sussex abandoned? Impossible. She accused the firm of incompetence. She claimed they didn't elevate her properly, that they lacked vision. She even floated the idea of hiring a world-class firm that understands global royalty and celebrity influence. Translation, a team that would never say no. But word travels fast in Hollywood. Everyone already knew her reputation. Agencies whispered to each other like survivors sharing warnings. The Sussex account is radioactive. It wasn't politics, it wasn't public image, it was the impossibility of pleasing someone who rewrites her own story every 3 days. Back in Montecito, the air was thick with tension. Meghan stormed through the living room with new ideas for her next move, while Harry sat silently, staring into space, the picture of a man absorbing fallout he didn't cause. Staff were seen leaving the house, eyes down, clutching laptops like escapees from a war zone. And then came the explosion that set social media ablaze, a leaked internal memo. It didn't reveal secrets, but it was enough. It called the account unmanageable. It mentioned unrealistic expectations and a hostile work environment. The internet had a field day. Critics laughed. Even Meghan's supporters fell silent. Another PR team gone. Another meltdown. When Meghan saw the memo, she lost it. She called it betrayal. She blamed the firm, then she blamed the palace, then the trolls, then the media. Then, institutional resentment. The only person she didn't blame was herself. Harry tried to calm her, but his face said it all. He'd seen this before. The cycle, Meghan pushes. The team breaks, they quit, and she hires new ones. Rinse and repeat. But this time, something felt final. The implosion was so loud, even LA's top firms started warning each other about the Montecito problem. One insider joked that PR execs were treating her like a Category 5 client storm. And honestly, they weren't wrong. The whispers spread. If you can't keep a PR team, the very people paid to fix reputations, what does that say about what's going on behind those mansion walls? Montecito wasn't looking glamorous anymore. It looked like a PR crime scene. And yet, the chaos didn't end there. It never does with Meghan. The moment she realized the team was pulling away, everything shifted. The energy in the house changed. Harry began pacing. Staff started walking on eggshells. Meghan acted like she was in the final act of a dramatic series, fighting invisible villains determined to ruin her legacy. The villains, of course, were her own PR team, the same people she'd hired after 27 interviews and background checks more intense than MI5. The poor souls thought they'd signed up to manage press releases and magazine covers. Instead, they were drafted into psychological warfare. Meghan wanted them to single-handedly reshape global perception before lunch. And when one team member carefully suggested a softer tone in messaging, the room froze. Meghan's face hardened. In her mind, soft meant dim. And she never dims, she called it sabotage. She accused her own staff of not understanding her vision. She even hinted at bringing in people who truly appreciate her brilliance. And that's when the team knew they were done. But the meltdown didn't stop. Meghan doubled down. She started sending 2 a.m. emails filled with endless paragraphs of urgent directives. She demanded new documentary concepts, campaign ideas that centered on empathy but didn't look self-centered. She wanted strategies for haters, plans for narrative control, outlines for global movements built around, wait for it, empathy. The irony was painful. The woman melting down over her image wanted to lead an empathy revolution. Meanwhile, Harry sat in the next room like a man praying for noise-canceling headphones for emotions. He tried to play mediator, popping his head in and saying, maybe take a break? Only for Meghan to shoot back, if we stop, they win. No one ever figured out who they were. It changed daily. Some days it was the palace. Some days, the internet. Some days, her own PR staff. By midweek, the team was emotionally checked out but still technically on payroll. They whispered among themselves, planning exits, comparing stories, calculating notice periods. One joked she'd revised an Instagram caption 42 times before Meghan approved it. Another said she now dreams in email threads. They were exhausted, but Meghan beat them to the punch. In classic dramatic flair, she called an emergency meeting. Everyone joined the call, pale and weary, as Meghan delivered a long speech about loyalty and dedication before announcing that some people simply don't have the capacity to keep up. Translation, you're all fired. The team nodded, thanked her for the opportunity, and promised transition documents. Meghan smiled like a queen, dismissing her court. The moment the call ended, the house erupted in chaos. Frantic emails, half-done files, and quiet celebrations disguised as administrative wrap-up. But the calm didn't last. Days later, Meghan panicked. Without a team, she had no one to shape her next move, no one to manage her relevance. She turned to Harry, insisting they find a better team immediately. Harry just rubbed his temples. Every PR agency in town had them flagged. Some on handle with caution, others on absolutely not. Their reputation for chaos was now industry folklore. Still, Meghan refused to believe it. She began calling firms herself, one after another. Most didn't reply. A few politely declined. The rejections hit her like slaps. By day 3, Montecito was boiling. Meghan paced the halls, ranting about incompetence, betrayal, jealousy. She said people were too intimidated to work with greatness. Harry trailed behind her, helpless. Eventually, she snapped, "Maybe I should run my own PR." She actually meant it. "No one understands my narrative like I do," she said. "I am the brand." Harry's face went blank, the face of a man realizing the roller coaster he's on has no brakes. Meghan dove headfirst into self-PR mode. She scribbled strategies. She brainstormed slogans. She stayed up late planning content calendars. But without professionals to filter her, every thought became a headline. Every emotion became a crisis. Every spark became a wildfire, and Montecito, once a serene celebrity retreat, became the epicenter of noise, tension, and frantic energy. Because this was never about one PR team failing Meghan. It was about Meghan burning through every lifeline that refused to worship her the way she demanded. And now, with the mansion echoing with silence and unread emails piling up, Montecito isn't just another Hollywood zip code. It's the site of Meghan's latest implosion, a PR tragedy dressed in designer.com. And so the whispers continued, neighbors talking in hushed tones, assistants gossiping over text threads, everyone wondering how much longer the chaos could last. Inside those polished Montecito walls, Meghan paced like a woman chasing her own reflection, convinced that brilliance simply needed better packaging. She kept saying, "They don't see the real me," as if the world's perception was just one perfect headline away from redemption. But deep down, everyone knew this wasn't about headlines. It was about control, image, ego, and the endless hunger to be adored. And as the sun set over Montecito, that mansion didn't shine anymore. It glowed like a warning light.